He was a man without a past. No childhood records, no confirmed birthplace, no family, no friends, no trace. Officially, he didn't exist. Unofficially, he was the most dangerous assassin the Allies ever deployed. A silent weapon in Churchill's hands. A ghost unleashed behind enemy lines. Even inside the SOE, Britain's Special Operations Executive, only a handful knew his codename. Fewer ever saw his face. He appeared, completed his mission, and vanished again, leaving behind nothing but a trail of empty uniforms, dead collaborators, and operations halted before they could ever threaten Allied fronts. This is the story of Churchill's deadliest assassin, the man the Germans could never catch, the man even his allies barely understood. The ghost of SOE. He emerged from darkness in 1941, at a time when Britain was desperate. Europe had fallen. France was crushed. The Gestapo ruled the continent with terror and precision. Churchill needed a new type of weapon. Not armies, not tanks, not air raids, but individuals capable of breaking the enemy from the inside. SOE was created for sabotage, infiltration, and assassination. Their motto was simple: set Europe ablaze. Within weeks of its formation, rumors spread inside the organization about a mysterious recruit who didn't follow normal procedures. No training file, no interviews, no background checks. He simply appeared on assignment lists. His codename was Ashford, though many doubted that was real either. He never spoke of his past, not even to his handlers. The most anyone ever learned was that he spoke perfect French, flawless German, and enough Polish to pass as a local. His handwriting changed constantly. His accent shifted without effort. His eyes always scanned every doorway, every exit, every shadow in every room. It was said that if Ashford ever told you his name, you were about to die, or you were the only person he trusted. Both outcomes were rare. His first known mission came in the winter of 1941. A Gestapo liaison in Paris had begun organizing operations that threatened entire resistance networks. Previous attempts to eliminate him had failed. German security was too tight. French collaborators guarded him around the clock. SOE needed someone who could get close without being noticed. Someone invisible. Ashford volunteered, not with words, but by standing up, putting on a coat, and walking out of the room before anyone could object. 2 nights later, the Gestapo officer was found dead in his office, his body slumped over a desk, a pen still in his hand as if death had arrived mid-sentence. No signs of struggle, no forced entry, no witnesses. A single cigarette butt was found in the ashtray, unlit, untouched, a brand unavailable in France. Only SOE officers recognized the meaning. It was Ashford's signature. He hadn't just killed the man. He had walked into a Gestapo headquarters, killed him silently, and walked back out. From that day forward, SOE operatives whispered that Ashford did not simply avoid detection. He did not exist in the eyes of the enemy. More missions followed. A high-ranking collaborator in Belgium was discovered hanging from a beam in his barn, labeled a suicide, though no one could explain the broken vertebrae. A German officer overseeing deportations in Warsaw mysteriously vanished on a walk home. His body was never found, but a blood-stained glove, placed neatly on a park bench, bore a single fingerprint. No German file could identify. A factory producing components for V-2 rockets caught fire from the inside. Witnesses saw a worker with dark hair slip out moments before the explosion, but no records existed of such a worker being hired. Wherever Ashford went, rumors followed. He could climb walls like a cat. He could walk through a guarded building without being noticed. He killed without sound, without witnesses, without hesitation. In German briefings, officers spoke of a shadow that moved through Europe. They gave him a name whispered with fear, Der Unsichtbare, the Invisible One. By 1943, his missions grew bolder. The Allies were preparing for larger operations, and the SOE needed someone capable of clearing the way. Not with bombs, but with silence. One mission stands out above the rest, an assassination considered impossible, even by SOE standards. A German intelligence unit in the Netherlands had deciphered parts of an Allied code. If their discovery reached Berlin, hundreds of agents would die. Their commanding officer, Colonel Reinhardt, was heavily guarded and rarely left his fortified compound. Ashford studied his routine for 3 weeks. He never broke cover, never contacted SOE for instructions, never asked for backup. He observed, listened, waited, and then, on a night when rain drowned the sound of footsteps, Ashford made his move. He disguised himself as a wounded German soldier, complete with blood-stained bandages, forged papers, and a limp so convincing even trained medics would have been fooled. He presented himself at the gate, claiming the colonel was expecting him. The guards hesitated, until Ashford leaned forward, whispering a detail only an insider could know, a detail he had overheard months earlier. The gates opened. Within 20 minutes, Colonel Reinhardt was dead. His guards were alive. The building showed no signs of struggle, and Ashford vanished into the night with the stolen documents tucked beneath his coat. When German intelligence examined the scene, they found a note pinned inside the colonel's jacket. "You should have stayed in Berlin." At the bottom of the note was a symbol, a small circle with a strike through it, Ashford's mark. Inside SOE, some feared him, others admired him. No one trusted him completely. His methods were too mysterious, his past too unclear, his skills far beyond ordinary training. There were whispers that Ashford had once worked for another intelligence service, maybe French, maybe Polish, maybe even Soviet, before disappearing into Europe's underworld. Others claimed he had no allegiance at all, that he fought only because he needed a place to direct the violence inside him. But one thing was certain: Churchill trusted him completely. The Prime Minister once said privately, "There are men who win wars with armies, and those who win them in silence. Ashford belongs to the second kind." As the war neared its end, the Gestapo's obsession with the ghost intensified. They dedicated entire teams to finding him. They interviewed prisoners, interrogated collaborators, raided safe houses. They pieced together fragments of sightings: a man disappearing into alleys in Lyon, a figure seen boarding a train in Prague, a stranger leaving a dead German officer behind a church in Brussels. Every report contradicted the last. Some described him as tall, others as average. Some said he had light hair, others dark. Some insisted he had scars. Others swore his face was smooth and unmarked. The truth was simpler. Ashford never looked like himself. He always looked like someone else. The Gestapo compiled a dossier of sketches, descriptions, and reports, more than 80 pages long. The file concluded with a single word: unidentifiable. They had been chasing a ghost. In April 1945, as Allied forces advanced across Germany, Ashford completed one final mission. The details remain classified, but fragments suggest he infiltrated a collapsing Nazi communication center and eliminated a high-ranking official attempting to flee with critical intelligence. He returned to SOE headquarters one last time, handing over a briefcase of documents. Then, without waiting for dismissal, he walked out the door. No one ever saw him again. Some believe he died in the chaos of the war's final days. Others claim he assumed a new identity and disappeared into civilian life. A few argue he continued working for intelligence services under different names across the world. But the most chilling rumor is that he never stopped. That for men like him, war never truly ends. Only the targets change. Today, historians debate whether Ashford was one man or a composite identity used by multiple operatives. But the missions, the precision, the patterns, they point to a single figure, someone unmatched, someone relentless, someone carved from silence and shadows, someone the Germans could never catch, someone the Allies could never fully understand, and someone Churchill believed in more than any other weapon at his disposal. The man who existed only in whispers, the assassin who moved invisibly across Europe, the shadow who struck without warning, the ghost of SOE.